Well, in breaking news to start Friday morning, we've got the indictment of John Bolton, Ambassador John Bolton. He can be added to the list of Donald Trump's public enemies. We got an 18-count indictment coming out of the District of Maryland. And if you let me summarize it for you, we'll post it up on Legal AF Substack. It is about the retention of national defense information in violation of the National Defense Information Act. It's effectively that he, over a long period of time, created an electronic diary where he sent to family members who were not named in the indictment, but were known to the grand jury by name. He sent them in national security information and entries for a 2 and 3 and 4 year period of time. They have a whole chart related to about 18 different top secret documents that were sent by Bolton to people who did not have national security clearance for a quote unquote diary, which they conclude compromised national security. In fact, the way we even know about this is that there's been reporting that Iran hacked into John Bolton's AOL account and was able to obtain this electronic diary or lots of these transmissions between John Bolton and members of his family, and that we hacked the Iranians, peered in and saw that they had hacked into John Bolton. So spy versus spy. You're here on Legal AF. Take a moment, hit the free subscribe button. There's some differences between the Comey indictment and the Letitia James indictment, which I think are completely manufactured and brought by an inexperienced political hack of a prosecutor by the name of Lindsay Halligan. This is a real indictment. I mean, there's real U.S. attorneys behind this that are still in the Department of Justice. Kelly O'Hayes, who is the United States attorney in the district, she's been a career prosecutor for more than a dozen years. She's assisted by a couple of other people here, Thomas Sullivan and Derek Schuttgart, and a whole group of other people from the National Security Division. They've done their investigation. It's in Maryland, not in the Eastern District of Virginia. Let me read to you from parts of the indictment. They're up on Legal AF Substack as well. They first go through all the ways as National Security Advisor for Donald Trump. He was previously the ambassador to the United Nations. He had access to this information. They allege on paragraph 8 that from or about April 9th, 2018 through August 22nd, 2025, for a solid 7-year period, Bolton shared more than 1,000 pages of information about his day-to-day activities as National Security Advisor, including classified top secret documents with 2 individuals apparently that were part of his family. And that these names were given to the grand jury, and that from 2018 to 2019, Bolton looks like he was writing a book that came out in 2020. I think that's part of it as well. Made diary entries by transcribing handwritten notes from his day's activities. This is paragraph 11 into a Word document, and then electronically sending it through a non-encrypted messaging app. That sounds pretty bad. Now you can see why security is so important and encryption is so important around platforms, because bad people like Iranians can weigh in. That this was all done from his home in Montgomery, Maryland, that these digital copies were stored on electronic devices by John Bolton, and that bad people got a hold of it. Now we know, although it's not, and includes human intelligence. I mean, if this is all true, and the grand jury so far has believed that at least at the lower level of probable cause, they then went. Then this is a bad thing. This is not just about John Bolton writing a book in 2020 that Donald Trump didn't like because it made him look bad. This is about John Bolton using national security information and top secret information and compromising our national security in order to write a book. They then go through quotes of messages between John Bolton and people in his family, which it indicates that he knows these things should be top secret. Why are we using encryption now? Somebody asked. Too much going on. I didn't want to forget about it. I wanted to get it down in this type of method. People commenting about the top secret information that was given to him. Then they talk about the 2020 book. The FBI finds documents relating to all of national defense in Bolton's home during a search warrant that was executed on the August the 22nd at his home, including seizing hard copy printed versions of the diary entries. Now, it's interesting what they don't mention is the fact that they caught this through an Iran peering in. That's been reporting that they apparently did not want to disclose in this indictment. But I think that's a fact that could well come out and does not help him. If you want to see the actual connections, we don't see the top secret information, but you'll see a date by date of the transmission of the email to an individual person and whether that information was top secret or not on pages 22 and 23 of the indictment. And this is, a 9 through 18 is retention of national defense information. It's a count related to that. And then in the prior 8 counts, 1 through 8, it's the transmission of that national defense information. These are crimes punishable up to 20 to 30 years in prison. And I think based on what I'm reading here, I don't want to say it's a solid indictment, but I've always said that if he did something wrong and compromised national security, I'll be the first one to jump on the train that says, well, this vindictive prosecution looks like it has some merit. Of course, that doesn't mean that his lawyer, Abby Lowell, who's representing a number of other targets, won't have some very, very good arguments to make, including vindictive prosecution. But you can't compare this to Comey's indictment or Letitia James's indictment. They're not worth the paper they're written on. And Lindsay Halligan is not a prosecutor that will probably survive some motion practice. This is a horse of a different color. For me, the real next question is which judge gets assigned to this case. We're going to have to see which judge it is. I'll have that as an update for you so that you'll know who we're talking about. I'll do that on Legal AF Substack Live as the day progresses. But I wanted to get you up to speed on this 18 counts against John Bolton and my initial view of it, having read through it. Missing pieces, no mention of Iran, even though we know that has been. I'm going to do one more quick read for you here. That has been a part of the story so far. So let me post this on Legal AF Substack. We'll get all back together again when I get more information. That's the headline. I'm Michael Popok. Hit the free subscribe button. Until my next report, this is Michael. Can't get your fill of Legal AF? Me neither. That's why we formed the Legal AF Substack. Every time we mention something in a hot take, whether it's a court filing or a oral argument, come over to the Substack. You'll find the court filing and the oral argument there, including a daily roundup that I do called, wait for it, Morning AF. What else? All the other contributors from Legal AF are there as well. We got some new reporting. We got interviews. We got ad-free versions of the podcast and hot takes. Where? Legal AF on Substack. Come over now to free subscribe.